Right, YouTube, it's Wow Sly, and tonight we're going to attempt to make some fatwood, the wax cooked type. I've got my old hobo stove, so I haven't used for quite some time, and a little mini pop can stove I made. Oh, I don't even know when, ages ago. And that's not part of my kit. I've got about 3 of these, but one of them's my favourite, and that's the one that's in my kit. I'm not using meths in it like I'd normally use. I'm using paraffin, only because I tested it out a while ago, paraffin, and I just got this massive yellow flame, which I think will be better to heat up a mess tin than the small direct flame, more controlled flame I normally get from meths. So yeah, not recommended paraffin in these pop can stoves. That's what I'm going to use tonight. I'm not actually sure if it's going to work on this setup or if that's just going to smother it, but we'll give it a go. The idea is, over here I've got a box of random candles. These are 8-hour candles. Got some other candles, smaller tea lights, another one there I've used, and a box just full of random old candles. I don't generally like candles, I don't use them. I don't just like solar for the novelty of it. It's a lot safer to use. I'd rather run it off solar power than have to use a candle, have it spill, catch fire. You know, if it's not a ventilated area, and you can get damage to your health. I just generally don't like candles for lighting. So I've got a few bags of candles that I've kept for, like, I don't know, whatever reason. I didn't want to get out my cook set, so I've got 2 metal rods I used off an antenna a while ago. As you can see, it's far down one end for being a dipole for something. I don't want to risk getting wax and spilling it. I'm using this biscuit tin upside down, so it's got a lip, so if I do spill wax it's just going to stay in there. It's not going to melt the desk in the workshop. It's a brand new mess tin. Obviously bought 2 years ago. Never used this one. This is the bigger one. I generally like the smaller one because it's smaller. So I'm going to melt all that up. And some random bits of pine, a couple of bits. I've got a couple of big boxes of kindling that I keep. Don't normally take it out with me, it's just to keep for around the house. And I'm going to soak in wax all this pine until it absorbs in all the pores. Let it dry out, and then we'll do a burn test. Right. That's a light, so it's flaring quite well. As I say, it's a big, massive flame. Just going to pour out the side of all the holes, as sort of planned, so it covers more surface area where the mess will just cover such a small area. When you cook with the mess as fuel, you get like a hot spot where just one part of the pan's hot. But with this stuff, it's so chaotic. Flames are coming everywhere. So we've got a mixture of candles in there, from cheap ones to 8-hour ones to, I know, nice candles. I might chuck a couple more in there, just because I want to submerge this wood completely. You wouldn't want to be doing this in the wind, I can tell you now. That's dangerous. Please do not try this at home, especially like anywhere indoors. I'm in a well ventilated garage, well ventilated. Right, it's been going for about 5 minutes. Just got to keep the wood submerged so it can absorb as much of the wax as possible. I did look into this a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, when I had a shortage of fatwood. And then I just stopped using it really. I sort of adapted to not having any. I went out looking for some one day and then stopped looking for it and never got around to getting it. So it's bubbling up now, which is a good sign. It means all the oxygen and moisture that's in the wood is coming out. Because you want to get, well, despite the wood being dry, there's still quite a bit of moisture in there, as you can see by the bubbles coming out of the wood, which you probably can't see on camera. The flames now are hectic. Don't worry, the wax isn't actually alight yet. That hasn't caught fire. It's sizzling away nicely. But yeah, the sort of longer you can keep it on a boil. And the next time I try this, I might try alternative stove. Just pushing it all under there, but with the bubbles, the wood's completely smothered in the wax. I have to tell you, if you spill this, you're in shit streak. So yeah, give it a good 10 minutes on the boil. Just from what worked out. Like I say, I'm not telling people how to do this. I'm just showing you that I'm doing it. I've only just sort of watched a few more videos again. I watched a few a couple of years ago, and I think I just thought I'd give it a go. I think that's all the stove about to burn out. Being careful with the handle so I don't pick it up and burn myself. See, the wood slightly caught alight there. A little bit of flame on the wood. There's a last bit of flame coming from the stove. It's about to burn out. Right, that's the stove out. This is all sizzling away. Got a couple of pieces scorched. I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in there. Different types of pine cut differently. Some the grain goes one way, some goes the other way. As I say, I've got a couple of boxes of random kindling every time I get sort of easy to manufacture wood. I put it aside and chop it up and kindling. It's always handy for barbecues or a wood gas stove if you want to do marshmallows, or we have a problem of gas or power in the house, we can still cook. I think that wood singed bit of wood then gives it a nice cosmetic look. Yeah, all I can do is leave them in there for a little bit, wait for the sizzling to stop, and pull them out to dry. Now, being as prepared as I am, I did plan on having something for them to lay on to dry when I get them out, but I forgot to get it ready, so I'm just going to get them out and drop on this metal thing there. Right, I'm going to go and find some pliers, which are on the desk behind me. Cool, it's filled up with smoke in here. Do it the extra light. I was fixing my bike today, and all my tools are back in the toolbox. Thin those pliers. Right, they're still sizzling away. Really wouldn't want to put my finger on there. As a kid, it was quite fun to pour wax on your hand or finger or the arm and peel it off, but I certainly wouldn't want to be touching this stuff. See, it looks like the wood's changed colour quite a lot. Oh, you can actually see where it's soaked into the wood and some of the grain. But from what I gather, you wait for the sizzling to stop. Don't leave it too long, obviously, or the whole thing is going to go one solid lump of wax and you won't get it out. Yeah, I'm going to leave it overnight to dry, so I probably won't be able to do the burn test till tomorrow. But what we'll do is we'll compare it to a bit that's not wax covered, and then one of these bits. We'll light them both at the same time using the same method and just see which one burns longer. The idea is, you know, not for it to light with a spark, but an alternative to the little white fire lighters you get, so I can light this and just put more kindling on top of it, or sticks when I'm camping. And I want something that sort of combusts easily, like cotton wool or whatever. Just want something that's got a long burn time, so this should add quite a long burn time to the wood. And it's all very nice. All the bubbles, I'm guessing, are the air coming out of the wood. That's what's making the bubbles. So if the air's coming out, it's obviously been replaced by the liquid wax, which is impregnating the wood quite well. And the wax was just above the top of that bit of wood. Now it's just below, so I've also used probably about a small candle's worth, so I can actually see the wax level has gone down. So hopefully there's some wax in here. But that bit's still bubbling. The rest has stopped. No, it's still quite a lot of bubbles coming out of it. I'm going to wait until all the bubbles, because I don't know. I'm doing the educated guess that if the bubbles are coming out, that's air getting out, and air's got to be replaced with something. So I'm guessing the wax mixture is still going inside the wood. Far and few between bubbles now. Right, let's get it out to dry. As I now put the fan on, it's quite chilly on the back of my head, blowing cold air onto me. Right, on there, it's metal. It's got holes, so it shouldn't stick when it dries. Grease-proof paper or wax paper is probably the best thing to use. That's in the kitchen. I didn't even think about bringing it out. I did think earlier when I do this, you know, find something to put them on so it dries, and then I just didn't think. It's just switched off mode. Again, I can't emphasise, please, if you are copying me, trying to do something similar to this, do not risk spilling this wax. Take your mess tin or your tin off your stove and put it on somewhere more suitable, more stable. And maybe I should drip it until all the wax is off. Take my time, no rush. But that looks like, you know, you can see wet wood and you can see how far the water's soaked into the wood. You know, that looks like the wax is soaked in quite a bit. That was quite yellow, that wood, quite white. Now it's quite brown. I don't know if it's just because it's wet. I think half of that visual effect is because it's wet and the other half is just wax that's inside it. Well, they're looking quite good. I couldn't get all the metal stumps out from the wicks, and there's a couple of wicks in there. Not to worry, don't really care. It doesn't make a world of difference. Right, I'm going to put that on the floor. Oh, it's a bit safer. I don't want to knock it over. Saying that, I'll probably stand on it now. I'll let them dry tonight. They smell a bit weird. And we'll light one tomorrow when they're dry. No point doing it now. And there's a job vacancy going for a cleaner. If anyone would like to categorise and organise everything we've got here, from catapult, earplugs, golf ball, Mackenzie's pet stone when she was little, high gain microphone, so 75 amp inverter, 75 watt amp, I don't know, amp, well, 75 watt, 60 watt inverter, bracket for CB, video lead, empty plastic bottle which I actually used to fill up my lamp, PC fan, safety goggles brand new in a packet, never been used. Right, I might wear them tomorrow. Oh, yeah. And I've got a couple of these. Maxcom. Maglite. Cheap socks. And that's what you call a work environment. Right, we'll catch you tomorrow for the burn test.